welcome back, everybody. And now in this episode, what I have for you, we are back into another one of those locations that have a bunch of really shallow or close to the surface epithermal deposits. And so once again, the mines are in these tight clusters. So we've got about 3 or 4 different clusters that we're going to work our way through today, and each one of those clusters have up to a half a dozen different adits. At least that's what it shows on the map. But to kick things off, we're going to start with this old cabin here, and I would imagine this cabin was used by the miners that were working a mine around the other side of this hill. We'll head over there in a moment, but for right now, why don't we let's explore this old cabin. That's kind of cool. They had a nice little walkway headed up this direction. And you've probably recognized this before. See this tin? Well, you know what those are. Those are 1 and 2 gallon kerosene tins. So after they use up the kerosene, they take a shears and spread it out, and you can use it for siding on your cabin. Miners were ingenuitive. Well, look at here. This is a pretty nice outfit. That's a heck of a cabin. Let's go in here. And we've got what's left of the old bed. Someone's old bed. Boy, the pack rats had a heck of a time with that. Look at that. There ain't much left. Makes good nesting material. Oh, hey, look over here, folks. Let me turn around. So you'll see this from time to time inside cabins. Let me try to point the camera in a good location. See, look down there in the corner. They were using newspaper as wallpaper. So sometimes, if you're lucky, you can get a date off of this. Okay, we got something up there. It says, I don't see a date, but it says that the paper was 15 cents. Okay. And there's I'm seeing a bunch more paper. Oh yeah, they had all the walls lined with old newspaper here. Okay, so as we work our way through this, I'll keep a close eye. Maybe we can find a piece that's relatively intact. Maybe find a date. All right, let's work our way through the wall. Okay. Oh, this would have been your sitting porch right here. Kick back in your rocking chair after a long day of mining. Out on your screened porch. Okay, what's over here? Ah, here's where we used to have the wood stove. And I'm still looking for more of that newspaper on the walls. Not seeing any big pieces where we can grab a date. Okay, let's work our way back here. Imagine this used to be kind of like a back pantry. It wouldn't surprise me if at one time it was a chicken coop. Oh, I thought we had a little hollow spot there. Okay. All right, let's work our way back this direction. No, it's unfortunate. No more big pieces of newspaper wallpaper. Okay. We've got something out here. Let's see what this is all about. what's left of a big cable. So around the corner here we probably have a shaft or an incline. See if this, what was this, like the outhouse? No, it's not looking that way. But we do have we got some boxed wine and what's left of some folks' folding chairs. All right. All right, quick little tour of this old cabin. What do you say we hop back into old Bob and we'll drive around the corner and see what these mines are all about. All right, I'll meet you over there. Okay, we didn't go too much further. Went around the side of that hill, and there's supposed to be an adit over here. I'm seeing some old vent pipe. There's some more of that sheet metal spiral wound pipe we've seen in the past that's riveted there. So we're back into some early 1900s workings here. And I know you folks can't hear it, but because it's too far away, but I can hear it. Off to my left over here, we've got there's a dust devil. And you can hear it spinning and out there in the sagebrush and the Joshua trees, but you can't see it. I think it's gonna be, I think it might be right up here. Yeah, this was many years ago, but I once just about got blown off the road by one of them dust devils. Oh, and this is where it would have been. Shoot. Nothing left of it. Okay. Well, we've got a couple of steel posts up here. Let's see if that's anything. No. All right. So some more recent mining activity. They were up here with probably a bulldozer or a front end loader, and they were scratching around and they buried the adits. Okay, well, let's continue on. We're going to work our way over to the next cluster. I'll meet you over there. Okay, back again, folks. Didn't drive too far to make our way over here to site number 2. There's supposed to be a group of adits on the side of this hill. I see we've got pretty good sized waste rock piles here. So let's head up this way, see what we can find. Lots of quartz. Look at all the quartz on the ground. Oh, look at all the silver sulfides in this material here. See that? That's all the dark stuff. And you see all the sparklies. We've got a whole bunch more limonite. Well, let's hope that we have ourselves an adit. That would be nice. Well, wouldn't you know it? There may have been one here at one time, but not anymore. Nope. Okay. Well, we've got another big waste rock pile higher up on the hill. I'll meet you folks up there. Maybe we have something higher up. Meet you up there. Okay, work my way further on up the hill. It's a good thing that I did, because yep, we've got ourselves an adit right here, and another waste rock pile higher on up. So we'll do that here in a moment. And it looks like at one point in time somebody had a bulldozer up here and they were raking material down here and putting it into a big pile that I'm standing on right now. Now, I don't know if you folks can see it, but you see what they're going after here. Look at the see all the breccia these are all rocks. These are all breccia. Here's a nice piece of right there. Got a little bit of limonite with the iron coming out of it right there. See all the sparkling sulfides? Now, if you look right up the side of this hill here, there's some sort of a hydrothermal intrusion. And what they're doing is they're working along the right-hand side of the head. Well, let's see, what would you call that? The hanging wall. Okay. Let's see what we got. This probably isn't going to go in very far, so I don't think we need to. Let's see here. There we go. Let's shoot down in there. We had a collapse right here. Okay, let's carefully work our way past that. And now we're into all this stuff that we're tunneling through right here is called andesite. See, it has all the small little flakes. See all the little tiny dark that's andesite. Now they were starting to drift off to the left and quit. What do we have here? Oh, we have another drift off to the right. Okay, well, let's go that way. Oh, I thought it was going to turn the corner, but nope, it stops right there. All right, turning back around. Yep, working our way through a whole bunch of andesite. Now, if the vein pops out and it's something I can show you guys, I'll be sure to point it out to you. Oh, this is going further back in than I would have suspected. All right, well, here's a good look at the vein right in front of us here. Oh yeah, here's another nice look of it. Look at it right there. So this is what they're working. From the hanging wall or the fault over here, it's probably about 3.5 feet wide. And we have a whole bunch of material that's slabbed off right here. Okay, let's get past that. Looks like we're coming to the end. Yep. And that's going to be the end. Wonder if, oh, look at the dendrites. Here, let me use the different light here. Right there in the rock. See them all? Those are dendrites, fossils. Okay. And a We have here a mummified pack rat. Yum. And a mouse nest. Little mouse nest. Okay, let's get back past this little sketchy section here. There we go. Okay, well, I'll just meet you folks back outside. I'll see you out there. All right, made it back outside. What do you say we work our way further on up the hill and see if we have another adit up there by that waste rock pile. I'll meet you up there. All right, so I worked my way even further on up the hill. We're standing on top of that next waste rock pile. And again, look here, we're running along that fault line of this hydrothermal intrusion right here. So I would imagine that adit that we just came out of was probably dug in the early 1900s, and then fast forward probably to the, somewhere between the 60s and the 80s. Someone said, hey, I own a bulldozer. I can just ride up there and rake down alongside of that intrusion, alongside that hanging wall right here, and that's exactly what they did. But they exposed a nice section of it for us so we can take a look at it. Yep, see the same stuff that we just saw when we were inside the mine. See the andesite over there? You got the intrusion right here, about 3.5 feet wide. Okay, beautiful looking material. I guess there just wasn't enough. Look, we even have some VUG. There's some VUG right there, VUG. That's where, see, you get these little tiny holes. All right, there was sulfides in there. Well, those sulfides have come in contact with water and have dissolved, leaving these little holes in the rock. VUG. All right, we got maybe something a little bit lower. I don't know. We'll head down there, see what we can find. I'll meet you down there. All right, so a moment ago, we were just right over there. Then we climbed on up to that waste rock pile. That's where that intrusion was. Now we're back down here, walking along the old trestle. Well, it's not really a trestle. They just laid a bunch of cross ties and laid out the track. This is where they dumped all the waste rock. But right over here, look at these piles of beautiful ore that never made it off the mountain. That's what would have went to the crusher. And this line right here, all of that would have went to the crusher and never did. Okay, well, that's it for this area. Time to hop back into Old Bob, and we're gonna head off to cluster number 3. All right, I'll meet you over there. All right, back again, folks. Didn't drive too far, maybe only half a mile or so. And on the other side of this hill, at least according to my map right here, we've got 3 adits, old ones, that are hiding right up on the other side of this saddle here. So I'll meet you over there. We'll see what we can find. Take a look here, folks. Now here is a good clue to let you know that you're coming into some old workings. We have this is a claim stake, but see here they used a Prince Albert can, or that could even be an old can of Bull Durham. That's smoking tobacco, early 1900s. So you'd put your claim papers inside that, and then they nailed it to their location post right here. It sounds pretty hollow, and the lid is all rusted. Even if I got into that, you're probably what's left of the paper in there is just going to be dust. So I'm not going to try to wedge it open. I just want to point that out to you guys. That's a good indicator that we're into some old workings. Okay, up and over the saddle. All right, folks, we made it up on the other side of the saddle here, and indeed we do have an adit. Very nice. well, we're not going to need our walking stick or our map. We can just lay that right there. Okay, well, let's see what this one's all about, shall we? We gotta make our way past the welcome sign here. There we go. Okay, let's see what this one's all about. Oh, don't tell me, just gonna be short and sweet, huh? Is that it? Yeah, that's it, folks. Just a big pack rat nest. Oh, that's bad. All right, well, that bat caught me off guard. Shoot, now I gotta get out of here without... Yeah, that one spooked me. There we go, he just flew past my head. Okay. He was hiding. Yeah. Rarely do bats spook me, but that one did. Okay. All right, nothing too much going on in there. Short and sweet. Let's keep scratching around here. Maybe we can find another one. Be back in a bit. Okay, here we go. We didn't have to walk too far. Let's see what we have here. Well, there's an old carbide tin laying right here on the surface. Wow. Okay, how am I gonna navigate this? Let's see, let's go around this direction. Try to get over here on the other side of this barbed wire. There we go. Well, we have we have an incline shaft. Look, there's another carbide tin right here, right on the surface. Incline shaft with a ladder going down, and it chokes off right there. That's as far as it goes. Darn, that would have been a good one to get into. Okay, well, we've got something, there's a waste rock pile right there. We may have something below us. I'll meet you down there. Okay, we were just right up there where that incline shaft was, and indeed, we have a lower haulage adit right here. And then off to my left, there may be one more right over here. We'll have to check that out in a moment. But for now, let's take a look at this one. All right, now we're not going to need the walking stick and the map. Let's see what this is all about. Here we go. Good hard rock mine. Oh, we got something hiding up in here, folks. I see a barrel and something else. It's going to be another one of those situations where I'm going to where I regret that I didn't bring the better camera and light. What do we have up here? Oh, we're on somebody's mining claim. Yep, So we've got an old refrigerator, and I see 3 barrels and a bunch of stuff back there. Should we take a look in the old refrigerator, folks? Yeah, let's do it. Why not? Since we're here, huh? What could it hurt? Oh, nothing in there. I was hoping we could maybe I can find a cold beverage. Okay, what's hiding under lid number 1? Nothing. Okay, continuing on. Anything hiding in there? No. Just some scraps of cardboard. That's a plastic barrel there. Whole bunch of lumber. Oh yeah, okay. Let's give it a moment. See if that was just because I was actually looking down and probably breathed in the device. Okay, continuing on. And we have a note. This is a valid claim. Please leave my tools and supplies alone. Yes, sir, we will. We're not going to take anything. We're just looking. We've got a bunch of dates on there. 2000, 2001, 9, 11, 12, 13, 15, 17. Looks like it was maybe 2017, the last time the old boy was in here. Yeah, he's got, there's all of his shovels. A bunch of wire. Cool. I don't know who you are, but I like your claim. You got some really good looking rock you're working your way into here. What's up in here? Oh, just another blue barrel. Aha. Bonus, folks. Oh, that's fuel oil. Darn it. I thought that we could take a big slug of Kentucky Deluxe whiskey. But it's fuel oil. All right, turning back around. Ooh, what do we have over here? See, those are the kerosene tins I was telling you folks about, that the miners would take a shears and cut apart and use it for siding on their cabins. There's a bunch of old, there's some tools and stuff in there. I'm going to read his sign one more time here. Looks like, excuse me, the last time he was in here was 2017. Okay, working our way back outside. Here we go. And like I was saying, I don't know who you are, but I appreciate a tour of your mine. Okay, let's keep scratching around here, see what else we can find. Be back in a moment. All right, so we just walked a little bit over to the left here. We have what looks to be another adit. Don't know if we're going to be able to get into this one though. Oh, that looks pretty dicey. Yeah. See all this material that's just ready to flake off right here. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to crawl into that one. Besides, the waste rock pile behind me is pretty darn small, folks. probably not worth it. Yeah. That material at the entrance is a little bit too loose for my liking. We've got something right over here. Let's take a look and see what that's all about. Meet you over there. All right, and as suspected, look, we've got one right here. That's what you call choosing your battles. And we chose wisely. All right, we're not going to need the walking stick or the map. We'll just set that there for now. Looks like we've got maybe a fox den right there. All right, let's see what this is all about. Get over the barbed wire here first. Only 1 second, folks. Get in here where I can stand up. There we go. I'm not actually standing up, I'm kneeling. Okay, let's get past this really ugly crumbly area. There we go. I can stand up now. What do we have hiding in here? So this off to my right here, that's called your foot wall. And if you look real close, let me point it out to you guys. You see how the fault, see how that's sliding? These rocks are sliding up against each other right there. And that's going to be the end. Really nice example. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's probably a little pocket in there. More than likely it's just me breathing into the thing. Probably should relocate that a little bit lower on my chest. We got to go through this crumbly material again. There we go. Make our way over the barbed wire. Yep. And of course, what did I do? Smack the camera? Well, I guess so. All right, I'll be back, folks. Technical difficulties. Okay, I got things sorted out. Back outside. That's going to do it for this location. So we just did that one, and we had that one right over there. All right, so I'm going to hike back and up and over the saddle, get back to old Bob, and we're going to work our way back to cluster number 4 for the day. Okay, meet you over there. All right, folks, back again, and let's pause for a moment so that I can explain what's going on here. Now, most of the time, on many mines, I'll show the portal or the entrance, but there is a lot of mines where I won't, and that's because I'm trying to protect the mine from vandals, as well as people, locating it to steal things or take things out of it. In this situation, I'm not able to show you guys the outside of the mine because of what we found inside. So yeah. So all right. Well, let's continue on with the show. Oh, I do like a mine I can stand up in. That's always nice. All right, so we've got ourselves, what is this? A bunch of drill steel laying here. And a drift that goes off to the left. And, oh yeah, right here, this is where the dynamite storage would have been, right there. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, we're just going to keep going straight for now. We'll revisit that on the way back. So it gives us something to look forward to. What do you say? Okay, well, let's do what we always do and shoot the light way up in there. Oh boy. This goes way up in here. And it's starting to get muggy. Just like that, it was like I walked into a wall of humidity. So that means I've got to do something here real quick, folks. Give me just a second. I'm going to set the camera down for just a moment. All right, let me relocate this. There we go. Okay. What I did is I relocated my O2 monitor down around by my ankle. We have a survey tag there. And right now we're doing nothing but just going through a whole bunch of worthless country rock, which is granite. And I'm walking at a rather quick pace here. Hopefully we'll get up to a drift. There we go. What do we have here? Oh, look here, folks. We've got 2 cases. 2 cases of dynamite right there. And let me look under the... Oh yeah, you can see them all stacked in there. Still nice and neat. Yep. Well, we're not going to be rifling through that. No, sir. And we have a compressor tank. What do we have going on over here? Oh, big stoped out area. Huh. Let me try to get up in here and take a peek. Oh yeah. Nice big stoped out area. Probably about, I'm going to say 25, 30 feet high. And looking back this direction, it's probably about 20 feet above my head right there. Okay. And then looking back where we came from. Old riveted compressor tank. Very cool. Well, now, what do we have going off this direction? Another big stoped out area right here above my head. Okay, and we have a false floor, and it looks to be, what do we got here, an ore pass? Yep. Okay, let's take a peek down there. Well, I think at one time it was a winze. Might be an ore pass. There, let me shoot down there for you. Because it looks like there was some sort of a ladder right here. But that's as far as it goes. Okay. Let's take a closer look over here. Oh boy, here we go. Another big stoped out area. Wow. Okay. This is what you would call a ballroom, folks. And I'm going to show you why here in a moment. But take a look at this. That is probably 50 to 75 feet up there above my head. Way up in there. So they cleaned out this whole room. The question is, did they continue on? Let's find out. Huh. Well, something goes this way. Yeah. All right, let's see if I can very carefully All right, I made it through that squeeze. Looking up above my head here, that stope continues up. And we're getting down into a whole bunch of really wet and rotted wood. Okay, looking down to the left, little thing went down right there, and I'm seeing footprints in here. That stope heads up that way, but you can see the vein that they were right here. See what they're going after right through here? Because they left what they were mining in this pillar in front of me here. Okay. And that is going to be as far as this one goes, is to right there. I'll tell you what, I'll take you folks with me on the way back out of here. Bunch of rotten timbers. Yep. There we go. One second, folks. Okay. I can stand back up here. There we go. Back into the ballroom. I'm gonna take another look at that. You know, that took a lot of work to get all that ore out of here. Okay. What do you say we take one more look at 2 cases of dynamite there? Oh goodness, they are all sweaty and crystalline. Here. Yeah, I really want to lift up on the lip of that cardboard there, but probably a good idea not to, huh? All right. I'll tell you what. I'll meet you folks back out by the portal, and we'll go down those 2 drifts that we saw coming in here. I'll meet you down there. Okay, we are back over to where those 2 drifts were. Let's take this one first. See if I can keep from hitting my head on the back of the mine here. What do we have up here? We've got ourselves an old bed frame. What that used to be, I'm guessing. Yeah, more than likely, yeah, it's sitting on an old cot. And back there, and that's it. That's the back of the mine. Okay, turning around. What do we have here? So this would have been, this is your dynamite storage. And it looks like what they've done is filled it full of old cross ties. Interesting. Well, let's see what this is all about. Okay. Wonder what that used to be. Okay, working our way up in here. Not very tall. I'm all crunched over, maybe 4 feet. And that's as far as it goes. But you can kind of make out the vein that they're going after here. All right. Sitting off on the right-hand side here. Right there. Okay, turning back around. Let's work our way back through the piles of cross ties here. Oh, and take a look at Mr. Packrat nest. There. Oops. There we go. Right there. He's got a little house right there, Put a bunch of pine cones and twigs on top of it to dress it up. Okay. And we're back at the junction. And that's going to do it for this mine. All right, folks, I'll meet you back outside. See you out there. All right, folks, back outside, safe and sound. Well, that was a lot of fun. So what we had here is a main haulage adit, going back up in there and intersecting with an ore body that they proceeded to stope out. And we found a couple cases of dynamite. That was kind of interesting, but those are the kinds of things that you will find in abandoned mines, and that is why the sign says danger, unsafe mine, stay out, stay alive. So, okay, here's my message to you folks that are thinking about getting into this hobby. So if you ever go into one of these mines and you find any kind of dynamite, I don't care if it's a half a stick laying on the floor or if it's a full case like what we found today, don't even touch it. Don't touch it, don't poke at it, don't pick it up, don't lift the flaps on the cardboard to peek inside. Just leave it alone, because and I'll be quite honest with you folks, I don't care what anybody has seen on the other mine channels on YouTube, it's dangerous and it's completely unforgiving. I mean, if an entire case of dynamite goes off in your face, there's not going to be anything left of you to find. You're just going to be red vapor. That's it. Here lies John Doe. And they're going to put a plaque on the mine, and that's going to be the end of you. So just leave that stuff alone. But I had a lot of fun in this one. It wasn't a really big mine, but it was kind of interesting. But that's going to have to do it for me today, folks. I'm going to get off this mountain here, start working my way back to base camp. Appreciate y'all coming along with me on this explore, as always. And as always, I appreciate all my new subscribers for coming on board. Thank you so much. I'm happy that you're into this kind of thing too. So yeah, so that's going to have to do it. So I will see you folks again next weekend. Okay, take care now. Bye-bye.